Good day again, YouTube. Sketchblitz Gaming here, coming to you with another video for today. And for this one, I'm going to be continuing my tutorial of how to draw an Eastern dragon. It's been quite a process, but we have finally managed to make it to one of the most important parts, and that is drawing the scales of the dragon. It should be fun, so let's get right into the video. And when I say it should be fun, I mean it should be absolutely agonizing for me, but somewhat informative for all of you guys. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm on the right layer. Let's be sure to get this properly set up. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I add the extra and final details here. Because what you don't want to do is add the big time-consuming details and then not focus on the little ones that you had missed, because those are the ones that stick out the most. It's when you draw a painting and there's no light in the eyes of your anime character, and they have some pretty big eyes, so it's pretty important to have it added. It's just little things like that that can make the entire piece just a little uncanny sometimes. Okay, let's see. One. I can't be the only person who realizes that I made this hand a little bit too large compared to the other. Let's fix that, because that's another one of those small details that I don't want to screw up. Okay, here we go. This should be the final warp. Okay, found the issue. It's right here. There we go. Okay, that's loaded in, and now that it is completely fixed, it's time to manage the other part. Gonna have to reduce that delay because it's feeling real bad right now. Okay, there we go. Okay, here's the final part. You guys want to know the funny thing about drawing art? It's actually pretty hilarious. Sometimes you don't know when to stop, and for some reason it makes it better in all the wrong ways. Like, you guys know the troll face that showed up on the internet around when it was first popular on YouTube? Well, that face has so much detail because the person who drew it just didn't know where to stop. And it's just like that extra moments of effort that artists put into things that make it so funny in the first place. Like, imagine Among Us and the effort put into it. Like, some of the best things just have way too much time spent on them. In hindsight, you just have to look back and say, who would take the time to do this? And it's hilarious. Well, art is kind of like that in its own way, because when you look back at something that you were drawing, you kind of have to laugh, because what happens is you feel the effort, you have the muscle memory of how long it took to draw something. You'll just take a break from your gallery for a few months or at a time or something, and when you come back, you're like, oh hey, my drawings look really good. I should go and draw this. But I realized there's some part of this recent thing I uploaded I want to edit. So you go into the editing software, and it's amazing how this happens. The art block does not stop you. Remembering how much effort you put into it stops you from editing it. Like, I guarantee you guys, Leonardo da Vinci, more likely than not, did not add anything else to the Mona Lisa because he realized that he really did put everything there. Like, he just remembered how much of an effort and how much of a pain it was to add all of the paint to the facings, the lighting, the texture, the balance. It just kind of chews on an artist's nerves sometimes. Anyway, let's get this started now that I'm finished rambling about that. Okay, so this is going to be a little tricky concerning how to add the scales. Scales in and of themselves can be incredibly hard. If you want, you can make them incredibly small, like so, and I don't know, copy paste that a few times if you want. Although the other technique is to go up here and let's see, I believe it is in the, it's either in Paint or in Digital. Here it is. So I'm going to take this tool right here, and I'm going to shift the color to white just to show you guys what it looks like. So if I put the opacity at 50%, it doesn't really look too good right now, but that's because I haven't added shading to it. Like, if you put the actual time into this and just do that twice, in a way, it kind of already looks like scales, even though it's pretty blinding. In order to properly convey this, I'm going to actually cut this layer out and then put it underneath the line layer so that you guys can see it. Okay, Creed is doing its favorite glitch. Okay, let's fix that. There we go. So as you can see, it's a pretty good way to add scales. If you don't want to spend the time to do it, just make sure that you use the magic fill, I believe it is, the magic fill selection or contiguous I'm tripping over my own tongue. Use the contiguous selection tool so that you can select everything of a specific color, and then you can start drawing within the area of that color without it getting anywhere else, like so. As you can see, I went everywhere but right here where it is not selected. So that's a useful tip. I'm going to probably use it later on in the video, but for now, I want to get started on doing the scales. And as a proper forewarning, when you guys start doing this, it will make you want to never draw dragons again. I'm not kidding. You will legitimately hate if you started doing the scales a certain way and it's not going the way you want. So for me, when I start drawing scales, I go on the nose. I try to avoid the hexagonal shapes because they can be a real headache to deal with. So instead, what I do is I actually start on the nose like this, and then I would start going in. Well, let's see. Describing it as I do it is actually pretty hard, but basically I would start doing this specific shape over and over again. And you just want to keep repeating that over and over, and only do it on the top side. If you do it anywhere else when you're starting off, it's going to be a little bit of a hassle at least. So, as things currently stand, I have just barely managed to draw 2 scales, and as you can see, it is starting to look a little bit more menacing, but that also took at least 40 seconds. So I'm not kidding when I say this takes a while. It helps to get some water or to get some music to listen to. Fortunately, in my case, I have music playing in the background of a lot of my videos, so I don't have to worry about running out of determination. That's not really an Undertale reference either. I'm actually quite serious. This is one of the most draining processes about drawing this. Let's make sure I did this right. No, I did not. Okay, let's flip this real quick. Nope, never mind, I did it right. I just was paranoid. Okay. So when you get to the eyebrows, what you want to do is you want to either add... Let's see, you want to either add fins, or you want to make the eyebrows themselves scales, which can be pretty hard. The reason I'm saying this is because if you go over the eyebrows and you do not properly tend to their quality, sometimes a dragon's entire appearance can vary depending on the eyebrows, as I just showed. So I'm going to be doing a sharpened pattern like this. Okay, let's see. Let's do the next part right here. This better be symmetrical or I'm going to be pissed in 45 minutes. No, it is not. Okay. Well, it didn't even take 45 minutes. Let's fix this now. Okay, there we go. Well, almost. Never rush the dragon's face at all, or you will regret it. There are two parts of a dragon that are the coolest to people. Those are the face and the wings. The only time the other parts are focused on is when they complement that. Okay, let's see. Nope, that's not working. Let's see. I'm going to put this right there for a reference later. That is not even, so let's fix that. Okay. So from here on, when you get to the crown of the head, what you want to do is you want to start making the scales move in reverse. And the reason for this is because depending on how you are drawing your dragon, if you want the scales moving like this, which is how they would naturally look, if you do that, and you go all the way up here to the neck, what you will find is that you have to, at some point or another, start reversing the scale pattern in order for it to match. And the best place for that is on the crown of the head. If you try anywhere else, it is very likely to either stand out or be a little bit awkward, like a reverse scale, so to say, but not as cool, because reverse scales are typically invisible unless on the underside of a dragon or snake. So they are not seen, but they are definitely there. They're like the paradox that artists use to explain why snakes or dragon scales can appear to be suddenly flowing in the opposite direction, I believe. Okay, let's see the second part. That does not look even though when I tilt my head, it is. It's gotta be right here. Okay, let's fix this now. Let's see. Okay, so it appears I have already made a mistake that I've just detected, and it's a good thing I detected it now. I made the right side of this scale too big. Unfortunately, I do not tend to edit my videos in post, so you guys are seeing me make every painstaking mistake right now as it actually happens. Which I do apologize for, but sometimes it's necessary. Okay, I see the issue now. Right here. Ugh, there we go, finally. After I have added this, I'm going to start doing the details for the rest, but for this video, I'm mainly focusing on the face. You always want to focus on the scales one body part at a time, because if you try doing too many at once, you're going to either burn yourself out or you're going to wish that you had. The reason for this is because of carpal tunnel syndrome. It's actually quite a hard thing to deal with sometimes. So you have to just look out and be sure to pace yourself. If you don't pace yourself, then it's going to be very, very rough later on as you're doing this. Okay, let's see. What kind of dragon do I want this to be again? I could do earth or light. I could do earth, lightning, or water for this element affinity. I haven't drawn this in a few months, so in spite of doing a tutorial concerning Eastern dragons, I'm not fully sure of what dragon I want this to be. But that makes it more fun. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So, what I've just finished is, as I call it, the primary row of scales. These are the scales that you want to be seen or to be on top of the others, and it always helps to do them first, because sometimes you might be doing special scales if you want to add like an element like lightning like this. You could have them on the side, or if you want to do fire, this is primarily good for it. Drawing one row of scales allows you to properly add some elements to the rest of the dragon's body without compromising how it feels to look at. Because if your dragon doesn't have scales, and it doesn't have fur either, it's just going to give people that vibe of it being a, what was that purple dinosaur that never should have been on TV? Barney? Yeah. FYI, I hate Barney. I could never stand its design. Its tail was either too short or its head was too big, but something about it just made me not like it. Okay, there we go, finally. Let's get that fixed. Here I was saying that I was focusing on only the face of the dragon for this video, and I'm trying to move on to the neck. Let's fix right down here first. Okay, next is the sharp part of the nose right here. Want that to be connected. That's partly why I made that, I believe. Okay, next part is right here. So, something I did not mention earlier because I had not gotten here yet, is that sometimes when you're drawing the scales, it helps to have the secondary row of scales that come from the sides of it to flow in the other direction. This allows the dragon to feel a lot more chaotic, and sometimes that helps the dragons because they are not natural animals. They do not have to be cohesive. You want to add a big head, you add a big head. You want to add small hands, go ahead and do that. But the most important thing about it is making sure that every part of its body complements the other part that you have already drawn. So if you already have one part of the body or the scales moving a certain way, then you just want to start by making sure that the other parts are complementing it. You want the wings to make the face look regal. You want the arms to make the snake, to make the dragon's body. I said snake for some reason. You want every part of it to complement the other part, or at least to make it look like it should exist, like it's actually believable. Okay, I done goofed right here. Let's fix this. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. That's done. There are a few parts I still have not updated. That'll be right here and right here. Let's also get rid of that stray line right there, or before it haunts me in my sleep. Okay, so the face is mostly done. I just have to finish up here. I would recommend starting off with scales that are a good size for your personal tolerance level. Oftentimes, the size that you already draw scales at when you start is a good way of measuring how much you can tolerate having added to the dragon. Because if you add too many, it looks like sandpaper and it just destroys the entire aesthetic sometimes. But if you have too little, then it looks like it's, well, doesn't quite stand out enough, to put it lightly. Okay, there we go. Time to finish this. Okay, the face is mostly done. Now I just have to finish the sides. What? Okay, I erased instead of drew right there. Okay, there we go. It goes right here. Next, we finish this small detail so that doesn't bite me in the future. And likewise, right here. Okay. So, now that the face is mostly done, and I am going to leave the bottom part here separate for another video, because that actually requires a different process, I'm going to move on to the ears. Let's see. You guys know how I draw ears. Well, based on my mascot. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for the most part, the face is done. I will not add too much to the horns because they are not quite there yet in terms of, well, the horns shouldn't have scales on them in the first place, but I was actually referring to where they're protruding out from right here. I will not add anything right there. So, now that this is done, there's one final thing that you would have to do when you're drawing a dragon, and that is to ensure that you look it over and that everything looks like it matches. It's odd to say it, but when you finish an art piece, you want to make sure that everything is properly in place. If you want to move on to the next video now, you can, but I'm still going to make sure that everything is properly developed. Okay, there we go. So that is the end of this video. I have drawn the dragon's face. in the next one, we should be able to move on to the neck or possibly the hands. It depends on what mood I'm in. Excuse me. So I hope you guys enjoyed, because that's the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one. Good night.